In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create really valuable SEO blog posts with Perplexity Pages. So you're going to create Perplexity Pages with all of the sources. You can add your own pictures, as you can see, tables, everything is sourced. And then you can use this Perplexity page, which should be published with Airtable. And you just use Airtable as a trigger to start the automation in make.com. And this automation will go through lots of modules, but mainly Claude, which will humanize the text and put it in the markdown format. And once the automation has run through its course, you can get the link to your WordPress draft here. And this is the final post. You have to change the title, of course, have to make lots of edits here, but most of the work has already been done while building this Perplexity page. So basically you get this really valuable first draft, and once you're happy with this, publish it in your blog, and then you can go back and unpublish this Perplexity page so it doesn't start ranking for Perplexity as well. Okay, so first let's see how to build a really valuable Perplexity page. You have to have Perplexity Pro account to use Perplexity Pages, but it's usually worth the money, I have found. So just open up a new page, and you can actually use this really valuable prompt that I have. Let me get it here, and this is available on aimarketingmasters.com. So this prompt is asking Perplexity page to research a topic. You just have to change this part here. My topic was the first marketing hire for a SaaS startup. Basically, this prompt is looking into the search intent of the top ranking pages, who's the target group, what the target group needs to know in order to satisfy the search intent of this page. So basically, you get a lot of information here. And you can keep prompting with it if you want to. But what I did was converting this into a Perplexity page. So just using this button here. And now it's creating the page, and it's analyzing all of this information that it found from the previous step. Okay, and now it's done with the page generation. And now my job is to edit this, make it even better. This featured image actually isn't that important because this won't get imported with this automation, so I can just get rid of it or use just leave the random image here as well. So basically here you want to go through all of the content and make all the changes. In this first section, if you add media, for example, I added my own image here, then this gets imported into your WordPress draft as well. And this is a really good way to use your own image here. Let's use one of mine. Okay, and now it's uploading my own image. Take some time. And now it's here. And I can change the titles of these sections. But the main thing I want to do is go into these specific points and start making changes. For example, make this a table, have at least 5 columns. Okay, and this is now, but of course you have to go through all of the points and making sure that it actually makes sense and adds value to the reader. And another thing we can do is I can insert new sections if I'm feeling like one of the sections that really needs to be there is missing. So I can just name the section and say like, oh, it should be detailed. Usually it's better if you have concise sections or paragraphs. So the opportunities for editing are really, really good. And another thing is I can also find a way to have an upsell link to my own services. Let's say first marketing role, a link to astronaut marketing, good fractional CMO service offer, whatever. So basically, if you're just adding some type of context and you want to add your own upsell, you can do it. Here it added for startups looking for external expertise, astronaut marketing offers excellent fractional CMO services. So you can add all of this information here, and Perplexity puts it together and into context. So that's why it's so great. So basically the idea is that you build this almost perfect post here, and then you publish it. And once you have this published link, you go into Airtable. But first we have to build this Airtable template as well. If you are a member of AIMarketingMasters.com, then you can get this really easily. You can just copy it. I'm showing previous automation here where you can just take the Airtable link and copy the whole base, and you can already use it. So this same one is going to be available as well. And the same thing for the make.com automation file. The JSON file is going to be available. So this is a really good, quick hack to check out. But I can quickly show you what type of fields you need here. So first, you have to build the new base, Airtable base from scratch. And the main field here is going to be Perplexity page link, and the field type is going to be URL. This is where you put the Perplexity page. The next one is going to be a short single line text type of field, and this is for the WordPress draft title. So you need to add this separately, and the default text I have put here, add post title here, if you forget to do it before you trigger the automation. Then at least there is some placeholder text. But basically, if you put this Airtable Perplexity page link here, and then put the post name already here, is the first marketing hire for, then it's going to use this title here. The third field is for status, and this is what's going to trigger the make.com automation. So I'm using these fields here: to do, start automation, in progress, and done. And default option is to do. So once a new record is added to Airtable, it's going to be set as to do. And then the next one is WordPress link, and this field type is an URL. And then next two field types are going to be long text fields, and one is for Claude output, and one is for the scraped content. Just to have it here as well, so you don't have to go back to make.com to see like what type of information it used. For example, if you are using a page link that's not published anymore, there's going to be an error. So you can see it right away that the scraped content, it didn't get all the information. The last one is time. So this is a really easy field type as well. Create a time, and just to have some type of record of when you created these entries. Okay. So basically, this is all you have to do for now for Airtable. And before we can start using the make.com automation, let's go back there. And here, as I said, you can go to AIMarketingMasters.com. If you are a paid member, then you can get this file, you can download it and upload it then to your make.com account, and you don't have to do it step by step on your own. All of the prompts are going to be in here. So let me see, where is the, so basically you just import the blueprint here and you will have the same automation. Now the thing you have to do is setting up this webhook first with Airtable to trigger the automation. So this is, I'm using this webhook because I want the automation to trigger right away when I'm adding this new Perplexity page link, and I'm using the status start the automation or start generating. So what you have to do here is your new webhook, and then you get this webhook, this URL. You have to copy this address. And then when you go to Airtable base, you go to automations, and then you have to set up a new automation. You can do it here. I can show you from scratch how to do it. And the trigger is going to be when a record matches conditions. And just going to pick the same table. And the condition is going to be about the status field. And the status field has to be start automation. Okay, I don't have any records here. Let me, okay, this is already working with my live version, so I can't really do it properly. I'm just going to show you the version that I have running here. So basically, condition is when status is start automation, then it triggers the script. So the next step has to be run a script. And how you set it up is, again, if you are the member of AIMarketingMasters.com, then you can go to this prompt section, and I have this webhook script for Airtable automation. I'm using it every time. So you can easily then copy paste this code and just paste this code here, as I've done. And you just have to replace the webhook link with your own link that you get from this webhook in make.com. So that's the thing you have to do. And another thing, you have to add this record ID, and then the value you have to pick here, Airtable record ID. So these are the things you need to do. And once you test it and it shows up in make.com, then you can start using the whole automation. So basically, to test it, you have to have one record already waiting to start the automation. And then you add all of this code that you get from here, and then just save it, and don't forget to put it on here as well. So basically, I have one automation with one row waiting here. And so once you have the webhook set up, then the next step is going to be about getting a record. Airtable get the record module, and here you have to connect it with your Airtable account, find the right piece, find the right table, and then this one has to be from the webhook. And in order to see it, you have to do this running through the webhook in Airtable at least once, so it gets the record ID here. So you probably have to run the automation just with the webhook first to get it really going. And the next step is update record with Airtable. And the point of this is to update the status field. Usually it's mapped here, but you can disable it and then put it in progress. Then you can see that automation started running, like something happened. It was triggered, everything is correct. The next step is HTTP get a file module. And here you want to use the Perplexity page link from the last step, so it gets the URL. So next step is text parser, HTML to text module. And here you're using the last step's data field, and this gets all of the scraped information about the page. And now it gets interesting, because Claude AI is really good, or ChatGPT and others are really good at generating content and going through content, analyzing it, summarizing it, but the tokens for getting like a big content piece are usually not enough. I have to do this iteration where it goes through several like pieces of or chunks of content from the text parser step in order to get like this big blog post, because otherwise I run out of tokens before it gets to the end of the blog post. Every time it becomes a problem. So that's why I have this type of setup here. So basically, this iterator is a flow control module, and you just have to use this type of, I don't know how to call it, no code snippet here. So you have to split the text part from the text parser with 2 new lines. So then it makes this scraped text into really good chunks, like 7 or 8, as I've seen. And then it sends each chunk of text to Claude, and Claude then rewrites it and puts it into Markdown, one text piece at a time. And then this text aggregator tool puts it all back together, so it becomes like one big blog post again. But also what I realized here is that I have to set up a filter to skip the first bundle, because the first one is actually a lot of like text that isn't really about the blog post itself. So Claude gets kind of messed up by this, so it's easier to say just ignore the first. So set up this filter here as well, so then you don't have to manually delete a bunch of text each time. Then the Claude model is using my own content humanizing prompts here, and also putting all of this output into Markdown. So the idea is it doesn't change the text, it doesn't change the pictures, the source links, but it just makes the output a bit easier to read. I don't want it to use those really common AI words that everybody hates, and I just want to have this text flow naturally and be good. So I'm using my own prompts here that, again, you can find in aimarketingmasters.com. And if you upload this whole automation, the make.com file, then these should be already in here for you. And then once this iterator goes through all of these bundles and puts this text back together, then I'm sending it to Markdown, module markdown.html. So it takes this text from the text aggregator module. And then the next step is if you're using WordPress, you can go ahead with this. If you're not using WordPress or something else, see if you can use your own blog machines module, or you can just put it into a Google Doc or a Notion document or whatever. But since I'm using WordPress, lots of people are, I'm showing you this use case. So basically I'm using WordPress module here, and here I have to say the title. So this is where this WordPress draft title from Airtable that I can manually change comes from. If I don't change it, it just says post title here. And the content is going to be the last HTML output, markdown.html module. Type is posts, and I'm choosing to have it as a draft. Don't ever publish anything AI generated right away. And then the next step, I need to get the link of the post. I want this to be really easy to access in Airtable as well. So this next WordPress module is about get the post. And basically, I'm just choosing the type post, and post ID is from the last step where we created the WordPress post. And now this is the end of the automation. Another Airtable update, what was it? Update the record module. So again, getting the record ID from the first webhook step and changing the status here to done, because now the automation has run through everything. The WordPress link I'm getting from this last step. And just in case, I'm putting this Claude output from the text aggregator and the scraped content as well. So I can kind of double check if the draft doesn't look right, I can quickly in Airtable see like where did it go wrong. Maybe the scraped content already is messed up. And basically this is the whole automation. If you're doing it step by step or using the imported file, make sure that you save it and also put it live here. And then you are ready to use this Airtable field. Just add a new page link. The page has to be published while you're adding it here for this to work. You can change this post title here. You don't have to, you can do it later in WordPress as well. And the trigger is going to be the start automation status field, which is going to generate the whole new post using everything you created in Perplexity Pages here. And before you go and start publishing your WordPress page, go back to Perplexity Pages as well and use this place here to unpublish the page. Now it won't start ranking for Perplexity AI own domain and for yours. It's only going to be on your WordPress site or whatever site you're using. So don't forget this small part either. Hope you liked it. See this next video as well.